Hello, you're watching News9 Live. Amid speculations about the launch of a political party backed by the BJP in the state, Kerala Congress Joseph, Deputy Chairperson and former MLA Johnny Nellore on Wednesday resigned from the party. He has announced plans to form a secular party with national relevance, which is likely to be called the National Progressive Party. The party is looking at enrolling disaffected Kerala Congress leaders as well as workers. It could actually become a constituent front of a BJP-led coalition in Kerala. Meanwhile, Minister of State for Minority Affairs John Barla had met Syro Malabar Church Major Archbishop Cardinal Mar George Yalancheri and Thrissur Metropolitan Archbishop Andrew Tazat in the past 2 days. So what is brewing? Is this something which is a new concoction, a new coming together of different parties, different ideologies to create, as it were, a monolithic, preference maybe for the voters in Kerala? Let's discuss it. In the studio with me is my colleague Ajit Vijaykumar, and I'm also being joined by Mr. Valsan Thampu, who is an educator and Christian theologian, and Vinita Hariharan, who's the BJP Mahila Morcha Kerala Vice President. But first up, I'll come to both the guests in a bit. Thank you so much for being on the show. But first to you, Ajit. Ajit, you know, if someone had heard of this, let's say even 2 years ago, one would have said this is impossible. Unless you said, do you have rumors? What are your sources saying? Is this something new which is unfolding in Kerala? Do you think the BJP is trying the northeastern model in Kerala as well?
Right. So in Kerala, BJP has been trying to woo the Christians for a while now, and there are fundamental reasons why they are trying to do it. Like in the last Lok Sabha elections and the assembly elections also earlier, what BJP had tried is to have an alliance of certain castes in Kerala, primarily led by the Nayars and the Iravas, and some support from those Dalits. But eventually at the end of it, they realized that the Irava votes are firmly with the LDF and with the CPM, and the vote share of BJP, the party, it has stayed around roughly around 10 to 11%.
Okay.
So that has not changed for the last 2 assembly elections at least, some bit of here and there. Now for the party to actually grow and to actually become some amount of relevance in the state, they are now looking to woo the Christians. So there is some history to it, and if the BJP wants to grow in Kerala, they'll have to have the support of one major community
of Christians.
Of Christians,
right,
yes.
Right. So that is the entire strategy.
Correct.
So you're pretty much echoing what Varghese, our other colleague, was saying, that look, it's not about winning, it's about registering a presence, as
Correct.
it were.
Right. So last time also, last election, in the Lok Sabha elections, there were at least 4 or 5 constituencies where they did extremely well.
Right.
The BJP, but then they were far, they fell short of the majority mark. Say
right.
for example, in the state capital, Thiruvananthapuram, the BJP candidate lost by just a margin of 10-15,000 votes.
Oh.
Yeah, so now and Trivandrum has a population of around 20 to 30% of Christians. That is what the calculation is, and I think while the immediate goal is to win at least 4 to 5 Lok Sabha seats next year, but then this is a long run, and I think the BJP, in the manner and in the calculated manner in which they are working now and focusing on Kerala, I think they're planning for some bit of
bigger stakes.
Bigger stakes in the upcoming assembly elections whenever it happens.
Right. Let me come to you, Mr. Thampu. Mr. Thampu, the Kerala Congress was, it was formed somewhere in the early 60s, if I'm not wrong. Now this new, Joseph and also other leaders are leaving it, and they are going in droves, one can't say, but they are leaving, and they are trying to do something. Of course, there is a bit of a dichotomy there, or maybe they are in a conundrum. They're saying that we are not merging with the BJP. This party is something which will have all kinds of people, all right-thinking people, as it were. But do you think that in politics it's very important that you have your own identity and also some kind of a significance is given to you, importance is attached to you? Do you think that is one of the biggest reasons for this new phenomenon of Joseph trying to, start something of his own and perhaps merging it with the BJP later, because both LDF and UDF, somewhere the Kerala Congress people felt isolated, Mr. Thampu?
Yes, it's quite clear that Kerala Congress is facing an existential crisis.
Right.
which was announced in good measure by the vertical split of the party recently, which has weakened the party considerably, eroded its political power base. But that by itself is not the main issue. This is a very complicated, complex situation in which I believe the dominant element is what can quite adequately be called blackmail politics.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting that the church leaders, before I go to that, let me say this, that if the BJP thinks that they can woo and win over the Christian community by getting a few bishops and archbishops on their side, they're terribly mistaken. I am quite sure that this is a disaster for the reason that the rank and file in the Christian community today are seriously estranged from the Christian leadership. Even 10 years ago,
Right.
it could be legitimately expected that ordinary Christians would vote as directed by their bishops and archbishops. But today I can tell you, being a part of the community myself, the likelihood is that if the bishops ask their followers to vote for a particular party, a majority of Christians will definitely vote against that party. And I'm not saying this in a vacuum. Recent instances prove it beyond any doubt. Now, this is where I should talk about blackmail politics.
Let me come back to you, Mr. Thampu. I'm sorry to interject in this fashion, sir, but let me also introduce Vinita Hariharan to the debate, and I'll go back to both my colleague Ajit as well as Mr. Thampu. Vinita, you heard what Mr. Thampu said, but I want to hear what your entire opinion is about. See, there is a bit, the BJP has been, very, very active so far as the Christian outreach is concerned, and there is nothing wrong with it. I mean, whether it's politics or anybody else. But then when it's the BJP, then eyebrows are raised that why are they suddenly going and meeting with bishops and, so on and so forth. So tell me, as a party, are you clear, Vinita, that you do want to kind of have some kind of a presence in Kerala?
Yeah, absolutely. So, see, we've always had a presence in Kerala. So it's not that we don't have a presence. We have thousands of party workers working day in and day out with a lot of outreach measures being done to homes and, beyond caste, creed, religion, and, a section. So it's a myth that there's a narrative that's been said that BJP is, it's pro-Hindu or it's only focusing on the Hindu religion. Because if you look at the Modi government's programs, the programs are spread across the nation. So it's not meant to be catering to only one particular religion or one particular category of people. So it's beyond caste, creed, religion, and sex, and all kinds of discrimination. It's beyond all of that. So it's for everybody. The kind of outreach measures and the programs and subsidies that we are giving, it's applicable to all citizens of India. So we do not discriminate in the first place. And the very ethos of the BJP, the party itself, if you see the genesis of the party and the philosophy of the party right from Deen Dayal Upadhyay, the philosophy is about catering.
Vinita, I'm so sorry to interject, but let's just focus on this. I just want to ask you, because you're well spoken, one has heard so much about you. I just want to know, Johnny Nellore on the one hand says, yes, I'm forming a party, it's going to be called NPP. On the other hand, he says, but no, I'm not going to go merge with the BJP. What shall be of great, curiosity for the viewers is that will Johnny, I beg your pardon, ultimately shake hands with the BJP and say, let's be together? Because like I said, in politics, all kinds of permutation combinations work or maybe do not work.
Yeah, absolutely. So so what I was just trying to say is the outreach that we're doing should not be looked at a kind of a gesture that we're doing, just aiming for politics. It's just about setting the narrative right and to let the people of Kerala know that we are there for all religions, not just for Christians, but also for Muslims. Even during the Eid, we're going to be doing an outreach to Muslims. And as far as the coalition and the the collaboration between various other factions and other leaders, I think we welcome all those who support the ethos of the BJP, which is catering to the last mile and catering to the human being, which is at the core
Right.
of the philosophy of
Yeah,
the
sure. I'll come
BJP.
back to you. Ajit, the point is that, I mean, what she said, Christians, and I think they are roughly 45, 46%, both Muslim as well as Christians. The point is that recent past, Ajit, we have seen the Christians fighting the Muslims also. All this love jihad and some disparaging words were used, Chris Sanghis, and they are saying that, they're talking about the drug cartel, everything. So, she's the outrage towards Christians, the outrage towards Muslims. But like Mr. Thampu said, was talking about the Christian leadership. But if you look at these two blocks, they also seem to be fighting in a very big fashion, which is a recent phenomenon, would you say?
Right. So, referring to what Mr. Thampu also said,
Yeah.
I think there is some bit of truth in what he said, is that what the leadership thinks and what the people there in Kerala think, there may be some amount of variance. But then we'll have to go further, deeper into it to understand what's happening, right? So, the younger lot, the youngsters in the Christian community, in my assessment, they are much more now open to try and experiment with other political parties, notably the BJP.
All right.
Because what was the generally the binary there, and the Congress and the Christian community particularly, they have always been voting for the Congress mostly, right? Now, with there's a, now because there's also a political vacuum there in terms of leadership of the Christian community there, because K.M. Mani, who was one of the
Yes,
tallest
he
leaders, passed away. Oman Chandi is not keeping
Left.
left.
Yeah.
So who is going to lead the community to the high table in terms of power and sharing of power? That is one of the fundamental things. Now, coming to what you just
Right.
referred to us and asked me about in terms of the whole love jihad and the Muslim versus Christian thing, the numbers that we see, where like Muslims are around 26% and Christians are 18%. This is from 2011.
All right.
Right. So we are in 2023.
Yes.
My assessment is that as of now, Muslim community would be easily over 30%, because even in 2011, the relative percentage of growth in terms of population from 2001 to 2011, Muslims population had grown by 12%, while the Hindu population was around 3%, 4%. Now,
yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. So what happened is that the relative percentage has changed, and this has caused a certain amount of discontent in the younger people in Christian,
Right.
in the Christian
There
belt.
is discontentment, is
Correct.
what you're saying.
Correct.
Mr. Thampu, you were speaking about how some bishops who have met with politicians do not necessarily actually, represent the Christian community in Kerala. I mean, most often that is what happens in most communities, and it's very common. Like, I'll just, Joseph Pamplani, the Archbishop of the Catholic Syro Malabar Church, he has gone on record saying that the farmers meeting at Kannur, he said that the Christians will vote for the BJP in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections if the central government increase the prices of rubber to rupees 300 per kilo. My question is that, is it more about economics and less about religion, Mr. Thampu? The entire brouhaha, as it were.
Well, that particular instance, if truth be told, is more about opportunism.
Okay.
Now, I'm fairly familiar with the track record of church and church leaders in Kerala, and the degree of their sensitivity to the ground level problems faced by Christians themselves. And I can tell you that for all the political maneuvering the Kerala Christian leadership has attempted in the last 7 decades, and that's been quite prominent, the ordinary Christian has not gained one bit. And this is now widely known. This is one of the reasons why the Christians as a whole feel quite alienated from their leadership. Now, a reference was made to the growing tension between Christians and Muslims in Kerala.
Yes.
This is an absolute lie. There is no such thing. In fact, certain scripts are being enacted in public to create the illusion of a desired tension between the two. You would have noticed, if you have been a keen Kerala watcher, that each time a bishop came up with a ploy to sow seeds of alienation between Christians and Muslims, Christians themselves stiffly opposed it and exposed it.
Right.
And therefore, none of the stratagems, whether it is the cry about love jihad or narcotic jihad or the economic war against Christians, etc., none of these things has cut ice.
All right.
And ultimately, the leadership has given up on this particular track, and they're trying something else.
So I'm asking you,
So
Mr. Thampu,
that's
do
the
you
reason
think
why
this
I'm
will?
saying.
Yeah. So do we have any hope with with Mr. Joseph, who's now cut his ties, and to start something on his own and with the BJP as a monolithic party? Do you think that is going to work? Do you think that's going to cut some ice with the community at all?
You earlier asked the question if the party to be formed will be able to stand on its own. Absolutely not. This move has been made as part of a wider scheme of things, which I don't blame at all. I don't have any particular personal stand on or axe to grind in any of these matters. I am a dispassionate observer of the Kerala scene as well as of the national scene.
Right.
So the fact of the matter really is that the individuals who are working behind the projected formation of a new party in Kerala themselves know that they don't have a square inch to stand on. If you know the dynamics of Kerala politics, for example, Aam Aadmi Party made an attempt about 10 years ago, 9 years ago, to establish a foothold, and it hastily withdrew from Kerala because the Kerala political domain is highly dense. It's very difficult to create a square inch for yourself. And the people behind this know this. So it's impossible that they would think that they can stand on their own.
Right.
This is just an initial stand taken in order to modify it soon enough.
Yes, and
So,
I think pretty much
now,
the entire South, Mr. Thampu, with the exception of Karnataka, I mean, the BJP has found it very difficult to make any kind of inroads. Even your neighboring Tamil Nadu, they have been struggling, but they don't find their feet there because of, I mean, that's another conversation. It's cultural, it's historical, etc., to understand that. Vinita, let me tell you something. When you're looking at the BJP, sir.
And I'm saying this for the benefit of Vinita. If BJP really wants to gain grounds in Kerala, it can do so. Let me say this. Even I would welcome it. Even as a Christian thinker, as an ex-priest, I would welcome it, provided it reads the ground realities aright, liberates itself from the tyranny of stereotypes by which it is bound at the moment. Secondly, one of the major sensitive issues for everyone in the South is the question of federal polity.
True.
Now, if BJP grandstands as a conquering, a party of political conquest, which cannot tolerate any other party, India must be a Congress mocked, the DMK mocked, all opposition mocked. This kind of agenda will stand as a major hindrance to the progress of the party.
Major
in the
hindrance,
South.
you say,
Because
Mr.
the South
Thampu.
the South is very different from the North.
Absolutely.
In fact,
and that's the beauty of this country. And Vinita, would you concur with, I wonder if you will concur with what Mr. Thampu says. But tell me something, as someone who's representing the BJP today, Kerala BJP, what is it that you feel the Christian community in toto requires in Kerala? I mean, what is this thinking that you have about trying to engage yourself with this particular community?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, this is to set the narrative right for one. One is to set the narrative right that we are a monolith party and we are anti-Christian or anti-Muslim. That's the first, objective of this entire outreach. And the second thing which I would like to say in your channel is that when we also did a lot of outreach to various homes, and we were welcomed very warmly by the Christian homes. They were not any big, great leaders, or they were just ordinary people who
Why should they
welcomed us
not
with a lot of
welcome you?
love.
But that
No,
is what we are
so
all about. You come to my home, I go to your home. We say,
so
please
exactly,
welcome.
so
But that is no
right, so
indication of
exactly, so
acceptance also, no, Vinita? So I
no,
want to
so
know some concrete plans.
across homes and across districts, the welcoming was there for the BJP, and we heard the accounts of the people as well, saying that the BJP should come, Modi government should come here, they should make a difference in the state, just like you did in the Northeast. The kind of developments that you brought in Northeast is amazing. So we want that kind of development to come in Kerala, but we are scared. We are scared to come out of the stereotype. We are scared to come out of what we have been doing for years and years together, voting for the UDF or the LDF. So the vote share of the BJP also, if you see, has been increasing. So it will take time, because Kerala is a place where
Vinita,
they're very rigid in
My
their.
colleague Ajit wants to ask you a question, Vinita. Yeah, go ahead, Ajit.
Vinita,
Okay.
you spoke about the outreach to the Christian community during Easter, and there were reports that you are also going to reach out to the Muslims for Eid. But I think the party there has abandoned the plan to reach out to Muslims. If your idea is to engage with all communities, why is that you stopped the whole outreach thing only with Christians and not taking it forward with Muslims now?
No, it is not abandoned the outreach to Muslims. That is going to happen. We are also engaged actively with the PM's visit on 24th, but the Muslim outreach is very much there. And you must have seen the kind of iftar parties and all of that we have attended. And we've also been visiting Muslim homes when we do our normal outreach, and as well as during Eid. So that's not abandoned.
I think we've lost the
Question goes
connection. Yeah, there she's back. Vinita, Vinita, the point is that outreach, I mean, I just find that, this special going to Dalits homes or going to Christian homes, it's as if you have to go to their homes to spread a message. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it when
No,
we go to
that's,
friend's house. No, wait a minute. I know you're a political party. I do not belong to politics. But the point is that are there any concrete plans you have, Vinita? Where you will say the Christian community requires these things and therefore we shall provide these things. Just by going and having iftar or, going to their homes and having a meal, on Easter or Christmas, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's actually being kind of patronizing, don't you think?
No, I wouldn't agree that it's patronizing. If you see what is politics all about, it's also about one part of politics is enduring people. So unless you go and break the ice and start going to people's homes and giving the narrative right from the horse's mouth as to what we mean, what are we offering to the people of India, that's very well known what we are offering across the country. The programs and the kind of programs that we are doing, the kind of subsidies that we have given, the kind of free ration that we gave during COVID, it was all the Modi government's efforts. The entire, the COVID time, the vaccination, the mudra loan, the transformation that the country has
All
seen,
right.
and the
Okay.
global
So, but the
place
thing
that the
is,
country
during
has.
during the
And also,
during COVID, the first time all of us were cooped up in our respective homes, the only name we in Delhi and everyone heard was Shailaja teacher. If I am not wrong, Ajit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she did some stellar work. Mr. Thampu, let me come back to you, and you heard what Vinita said. Do you think that the BJP is still floundering as to how to handle this community? I mean, there is nothing wrong with politics. I mean, you are wooing, you want to expand your, vote base. But do you think they've got the arithmetic and also the chemistry right here?
The BJP is in a catch-22 situation. It built up its national fortunes through what is outright an anti-minority, communal, majoritarian political agenda. Of that, there can be absolutely no doubt, because that is what even LK Advani said. Now, that remains etched in the minds and memories of people, not only in the north, but also in the south. Now, when it comes to the south, suddenly, without any change in ideological positions, the BJP wants to reconfigure itself as a pro-minority community. And as the spokesperson from the party said, we visit the houses of Christians and Muslims, and USA anchor quite rightly said that's very condescending. It's very condescending, to tell you the truth. The point is, please understand that it insults the dignity of a Christian and a Muslim in Kerala for the BJP to assume that Prime Minister Modi, for whom I have great personal admiration, distributes all kinds of, crumbs. We do this charity, political charity, that charity, and therefore, irrespective of the serious threats and focal points of insecurity that these two religious communities are forced to face, they should somehow make a beeline before BJP. I can't think of an assumption more stupid than this. And I'm sorry I have to put it in this manner. Unless and until BJP recognizes that there is a frontal contradiction between its communal posturing at the national level and its pro-secular posturing in Kerala, minority wooing, pro-religiously secular. There's a glaring contradiction which is not lost on the educated public of Kerala. I can say one thing for the sake of my the BJP representative. If the BJP wants to gain grounds in Kerala, it can do so. Why? Because there is a very considerable political vacuum existing in Kerala at the moment. I will not go into the details of it. How to take advantage of this? Just one thing is required. Only one thing.
Right.
If Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on his visit to Kerala 24th, 25th, visiting or sitting with 9 prominent Christian bishops, who according to BJP represent the conscience of Kerala Christians. If the Prime Minister can make one statement, and that is, the ideological position adopted from the time of Veer Sarwarkar's Hindutva, continuing through a bunch of thoughts by Golwalkar, the idea that Muslims and Christians who have their Pitrabhumi and Punya Bhumi outside of the territorial limits of India are not eligible for citizenship in this country, that negative notion stands revoked. If the Prime Minister can make an unambiguous statement to this effect, I can tell you that the people of Kerala would welcome the BJP to an unprecedented extent, an extent that would exceed the expectations of the BJP. But that they will never do.
That's it. I mean, because it's also Kerala, politics. Mr. Thampu, most often...
They think that people in Kerala are idiots. You see, right next to us, people in Karnataka are being attacked, right?
Christians no, but in Tamil Nadu, I mean, towards Tamil Nadu, he's made a very, very, impressive outreach. I mean, he's the only Prime Minister I can think of who's gone there many times and praised the Tamil language and the culture. Let me come back to you, Mr. Thampu. Ajit, tell me something. Let's bring back, this is, what Mr. Thampu said, are strong views and very admirable, it's his views. But I'm asking you something. When you look at it from the prism of pure politics, don't you think Mr. Joseph's going away, Mr. Mani passed away, Oman Chandi left the party, somehow because they could not create for themselves any kind of, you need to be important in a family also. Right. I mean, the minute you are ignored, you don't want to be, you want to be someone else. Do you think that that is one of the major reasons for them to suddenly wake up and say, we'll do something only for the Christians, but we will do it in unison with the BJP? Do you think it is basic political opportunism and nothing else?
I don't think so that whatever Mr. Johnny Nellore is trying to do, this is not something that has happened as of now. Suddenly a thought process emerged that we should do it. This is a process, this is a project that has been working for a while. While Mr. Thampu may say that Christians and Muslims are one unit in Kerala, my views are a bit different on that. Okay.
All right.
Right. So my views are different for a reason, because what has happened in the last 5-10 years has led to a lot of discontent between the two communities and the trust that they share.
Okay.
Both Christians and Muslims were the two pillars on which UDF stood in Kerala. But it was in the year 2012 when the Umman Chandi gave one more ministry to the IUML Muslim League, is when it started to dawn on Christians that the Muslim community is going to take much more pie of the power structure, right? So this is also a ground reality. Mr. Thampu may think that this is not true, but then I strongly suggest that there's some bit of discontent there. It is not that everything is absolutely good with the two communities in terms of the trust that they used to share ever since independence, I would say. Now coming to the point of what the BJP can possibly do.
Right.
Yeah. So the BJP is principally trying to, as you said, trying to fill in some amount of gap that has come up in terms of the minds of Christians who have on one side at least a section of Christians who feel that they are being kept out of real power, ignored,
isolated.
Correct. And because they don't have any strong leadership to actually represent them, so they are looking at their alternatives. That's what they are trying to do.
Right. So, Mr. Thampu, but let's be fair, in the Northeast, it was once unimaginable. But there you saw how the BJP has made fabulous inroads, So, I'm saying, like you say, I mean, you laid out, I will not say conditions, but you created an ideal situation where if the PM says this, then perhaps the Christian community will think of, inching close towards the BJP. But the point is that the BJP has done it in the Northeast. So, nothing can stop them doing it, let's say in Tamil Nadu or in Andhra or Telangana or maybe Kerala.
The situation in the Northeast cannot be compared to the situation either in Kerala or in the South. I don't want to go into the specifics of the Northeastern situation. If you have traveled once by the roads there, then you know the answer. Perhaps we need not go beyond that. I again want to tell you, if people want to embrace myths, it's their choice. If truth matters at all, I tell you, there is absolutely no tension. I emphasize, there is no tension between the Christian community and the Muslim community in Kerala. Not only that, all orchestrated attempts to improvise conflicts, tension and alienation failed miserably. It's a fact on the ground. Why do people refuse to see what is the obvious reality? The factor at play in all this is something very different. That's why I tried to introduce the idea of blackmail politics, which was a door was shut against it. If you want a key to understand the Kerala situation today, it is blackmail politics and reverse blackmail politics. The Kerala Congress party, and not the whole of it, a small splinter group, is actually using the BJP to blackmail UDF on the one side and the LDF on the other side. The BJP on its part is using blackmail politics to bring the church leaders online with it. So it is one group blackmailing the other, that group then blackmailing somebody else in order to try and bargain and retrieve the lost grounds. So it is in an utterly confused state. And in my opinion, to the extent that I understand the dynamics of history, confusion is the precursor to the inauguration of a new era. And this is where BJP must pitch its hope. But for this to really materialize, BJP has to read the situation right. I have absolutely nothing against or for anyone. I have nothing to do with politics. I am someone who seeks after truth. I stand for truth. This is the truth of the matter. BJP will not gain one bit. Mark my words, one bit by following the present track. Believe you me, it is a bus ride to nowhere.
Right, but it's very interesting what you say, because we've had a very, very vibrant discussion here, Mr. Thampu. Ajit thinks slightly differently. Vinita, who had to leave early, she thought differently. But let's see whether Kerala is ready for such a coalition between, Joseph's party and also, merging with the BJP. Thank you so much, Mr. Thampu, for joining us on the broadcast. And thanks also to Vinita Hariharan, of course, to you, Ajit. Thank you very much. And for all the rest of the news and analysis, keep watching News 9 Live.